Take take two, take two. I literally just recorded a full, like, almost half an hour video and listened to it, and I was just not talking at all. And I was thinking my mic was broken. I was like, why? Turns out my mute button on the headset had actually been activated. So there's me plugging, unplugging, going through all the settings options, everything you could possibly imagine, right? About to do a PC restart until I took my headset off to look at it, and I saw this big red blotch next to my mute button. So I'm like, okay, let's press that and see what happens. Pressed it. On a mic test, I could start hearing myself again clearly. So yeah, that happened. But anyways, we're going to start this again with the Timo Werner hijack loan deal. Manchester United were looking to sort a loan for Timo Werner. We're literally just going to jump straight into this. Like, honestly, this I don't have forever tonight, so I've got to do this quick. But Timo Werner, Manchester United were looking to do a loan deal. It was looking like he was going to be the probable choice between the option between Werner, Marlon from Dortmund, and Choupo-Moting, as well as Guirassy. And it was looking like Timo Werner was going to be the choice that we were going to go with. Except today, we've had a breaking news of Timo Werner having a loan proposal accepted to join Tottenham Hotspur for 6 months, and that supposedly has the option to buy. Now, reading the room, by the looks of it, not a lot of United fans are outraged by this, and to be fair, to be completely expected given the profile of the player. No one's really that fussed about Timo Werner, but Tottenham fans, it's actually quite funny to see them in a bit of meltdown about this. They're saying just a German Richarlison, just like it's not ideal. This isn't what we wanted. This isn't quite the sort of plans that we had in mind, Daniel Levy, when we talk about backing Ange Postecoglou. Big Ange. It'll be very atypical for Timo Werner to complete his loan deal and then score a winning goal or get a hat-trick against Man United at Old Trafford. That would be very, very typical. But, it is what it is. For me, there's some glaring positives. Well, I say positives. There's glaring negatives about this. And we'll jump into that in just a second. And basically, those glaring negatives about this deal, supposedly, we've had this as a clear probable option, right? This is kind of a concept that a lot of people were starting to see it, and we're like, okay, I see where the plan is here. The opportunity to sell Martial for a small fee to get him off the wage bills, to loan in a replacement between now and the summer, and then sort out the bigger mainstay plans when you get to the summer. That's not the case. That won't be so much the case if we fail to get somebody in. And by the looks of it, it's starting to it's starting to shed a little bit of light on the situation, that things this window are expected to be the same. More of the same. Nothing's going to happen for incomings until we get to the final day of the transfer window. Then we're going to panic buy somebody. They're going to come in, and then we're just going to be sat there like, wow, that was dramatic. That was very, very dramatic. And we brought in Choupo-Moting. We brought in Marlon. We brought in Guirassy. It's like trying to do a madness here. Trying to do a madness all the while not actually achieving much with it. And Manchester United fans, I think, before people start to get a little bit, wax lyrical about it, this should be expected. Right now, because there is no choice for Sir Jim Ratcliffe or Sir Dave Brailsford to actually influence this window with decisions, or like actually putting their stamp on this January transfer window, it's going to be a Glazonomics transfer window. So expect a load of commonsensical choices to make no sense at all. Expect a lot of simple and good deals to not be done or to be ignored. The obvious deals to be ignored. Expect these things. These are likely to happen. So let me know what your thoughts about this Werner news is, and whether you're pleased about this, whether you're less than pleased, whether you're absolutely raving mad about this, or whether you're just like what I think plenty of United fans are, just not really too bothered by this. You know, we're not too bothered. I know what kind of comments Tottenham fans would probably put in. They'll probably say, "Why the hell are we going after this player?" To be quite frankly honest, I don't know why you are going after this sort of player. And for a loan deal, I mean, what's that about? Daniel Levy, expertise. I mean, Dragusin should be in through your door, except he was playing against Genoa the other. Well, no, he plays for Genoa, but he was playing against another Italian team earlier on. I think it was yesterday. It was literally on the same night that Tottenham were playing against Burnley, and it's like, well, Dragusin should have been in through the door, and starting preparations for the Manchester United game come next weekend. But that's not what's happened. So Daniel Levy's got some question marks surrounding him for this January transfer window. I know a lot of Tottenham fans are sort of feeling a bit I'm not too sure about this window, but Manchester United's case, it's going to be more of the same, and I can imagine there's going to be a lot of frustrated fans come January the 21st, January the 31st, when there's not really anything going on, and it's just another January goes by, and we've not taken advantage of the market or anything whatsoever. Speaking of loan deals, many clubs are fighting it out for Hannibal Mejbri for a loan deal, and I was explaining this on the original recording for this when I was in a good flow, in a good state of things, and I've had to flush that one, scrumple that one up, and flush that one down the toilet. But essentially, Hannibal Mejbri was one of the players that was mentioned to having the +1 clause in their contracts to be activated, so they stayed for an extra year. Because I believe Hannibal's contract was meant to be expiring this summer, but I think that additional year has been supposedly has been triggered, or is still yet to be triggered. I'll have to get clarification on that. But supposedly, it's probably something along the lines of what's happened with Alvaro Fernandez, where Alvaro's gone to Granada, has done really, really well, and has built up enough of a character that he's gained traction and noticed by other clubs in Europe that will want to pay a transfer fee to Manchester United for the player. So what do? They plot to end, or to cut the loan deal short, to do the transfer business with Benfica. They might have a similar idea in mind here with Hannibal Mejbri. Send him out on loan to a club, get some minutes, build up your value. And one thing that United need to be doing at the moment is raising funds. So what better than to get someone on the cusp of first team football, get them noticed in a sound environment, a sound level of club, send them off to a loan deal for 6 months to build their value, because they'll be playing more consistently than they would be at Man United. They come back from their loan deal and they've got a commandable transfer value. So then they can sell a player that they weren't planning on using in the first place for an even better price. And that's probably what the idea with some of the younger players is. Loan them out, try and build up a transfer value, and then sell them off as just a way of raising funds. But the thing is that that's with the Sevilla being the deal that they are supposedly the front runners for. Um, there's also Freiburg and Olympic Lyon that is that have inquired about a loan deal for Hannibal Mejbri. Um, but the hijackers in this circumstance is Everton. Everton. They have come to the table looking to hijack the loan move um, to Sevilla because Hannibal Mejbri selected Sevilla with the options that he had available to him. And it's, I suppose the question is to who would you rather Hannibal Mejbri go on loan to? Um, so I was just reading something there. For me, there's positives in both. You either look at it from a standpoint of what's going to complement his character most, or for the type of player he is most. We know him to be someone who has a lot of energy, a lot of drive, and he's just a very driven player, and he's quite aggressive on the pitch as well. So he's got a bit of bite to him, a bit of a flair of a personality flair on the pitch, and whether you guys think that he'd be more suited to an Everton move as opposed to a Sevilla loan move, if it was up to me, based off of seeing how much more technically sound Alvaro Fernandez has become being on loan for half a season at Granada, maybe something on similar levels could occur for Hannibal Mejbri if he does go to loan, uh, goes on to a loan at Sevilla. Maybe he does find a technical edge to his game by playing in that team. It's just whether he gets the game time, and the problem is that even with Everton, you've got to ask: is there a guarantee that he's going to get, you know, valuable minutes? Is he going to see that sort of game time? Everton, he's got to have a fair bit of discipline to his game, and a composed head on his shoulders. And I think with someone who's got a bit of bite into the challenge, like the Hannibal Mejbri does, I don't know if that's a Sean Dyche type player. To be quite frankly honest, I don't know if it is, but I can see Hannibal Mejbri exerting more technical qualities in a league that's more open, that plays faster pace, but just allows for players to flourish with their technical abilities and sort of grow their individual games. And I suppose if you're a team looking to sell a player for market value, you're not trying to execute a perfect fit for a loan club deal. You're looking to improve that player substantially to enough of a degree to command a fairly sizable transfer fee when they come back. So that's, to me, if it was down to me, I would see more value in a Sevilla loan for Hannibal Mejbri as opposed to an Everton loan. Although the Everton option's not that bad. It's not that bad by any means. But it's just something I've been tied to for a lot of loans over the years, that we just loan players out to meaningless loans to clubs where the player doesn't really get the best of the loan. It's just almost a bit of a waste of time. So yeah, for me, let me know what you guys think about the loan options. Which club would you let Hannibal Mejbri go to? Would you prefer loaning him to Sevilla? Would you prefer loaning him to Everton? I suppose it really just depends on which club, I guess, offers the best loan package. And I suppose value-wise, maybe wage distribution as well, even though it kind of means absolutely nothing with wage distribution, considering Hannibal Mejbri is one of the lowest earners at the whole football club in its entirety. So yeah, it's probably not going to matter so much about that. But increasing transfer value or market value, that absolutely does matter. Um, just a quick one as well before I wrap things up as well. Um, Andy Mitten put out a statement, a publication, a news story, news article about players. Another more inside sources talking about what goes on inside Carrington, inside Manchester United's dressing rooms, and supposedly that Andy Mitten has stated, supposedly, not in these words, but they insinuate words of a similar effect, that Manchester United's dressing room is split between players that are fully backing the manager and players that are not. Of course, you could probably have guessed that from a mile away, given some players they don't seem to be complaining about the manager too much, but there are others that perhaps cut the more likely the figures that would, and whether you like who you want to believe those players are, we don't have any names, but I can imagine two people that would really be desperate to grab a hold of Andy Mitten to tell them some names would be Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Sir Dave Brailsford. They were at Carrington not 48 hours ago, thereabouts. So about 2 days ago, they were at Carrington giving out speeches. This is where we're going to change the culture of the club. The standards, we've been chronically underperforming. The standards are on the floor. We've got to raise those. We've got to start taking everything seriously here. Right? So people will say, that's a liberating talk. Then you get the story saying that players, they found it really difficult because there was a takeover going on. Why do we care? Why do we care? We don't care. That is not an excuse. That is not an excuse. A takeover going on means that you couldn't defend a goal. A takeover going on means you couldn't make a better clear-cut chance. A takeover going on means that you couldn't track back. A takeover going on means you couldn't make a simple save. A takeover going on means that you can't make a 5-yard pass. Oh, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's in the back of my mind. He lives rent-free in my head. And Sir Dave Brailsford, the egghead, he lives rent-free in my brain. No one cares. No, literally, no one cares. I mean, come on. You're the same people that complained about driving home in the dark when Ranić was here. You complained about stupid shit. We don't care. There's that many more people who live in poverty who complain less than you. And you're at the complete opposite end of the spectrum. You earn more money in a week. Some of you earn more money in a week than some well-off people in this country earn in a year. Like, try that on for size, and then try and complain after that. Like, seriously, it's honestly ridiculous. And you're coming out with more dressing room leaks that soon after a new ownership that's going to hold your fates of your sporting careers in their hands. You're busy leaking off to the press again. That's just absolute madness. Absolute ludicrous madness, and there's no place for it. There's absolutely no place for it. I hope Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Sir Dave Brailsford, they go in there and they demand, we'd like a meeting with you, Andy Mitten. Come speak to us. We want to get a couple of names off of you. These sources, when you wrote that article, can you name drop these sources for me? I'm going to now go to speak to those sources and get some intermediaries there to go grab me some names from them. And we're going to track this all back. We're going to root this all back to who it is that sent the words out. And then those players, no matter how influential you are to the squad, bye-bye, get gone. And you know what would be a really crazy statement? Would be sacking them. Crazy statement. And you know what? As much as it would hamper transfer windows if you're paying them off, because they're all going to have some mad contract severance payments, I'll tell you that much, I would still applaud it, because it's for the bigger picture. It's the bigger picture, and it's solely revolving around the standards. That if you leak anybody, we will find you. You know, that this isn't Liam Neeson talking. This is Sir Jim Ratcliffe talking. This is Sir Dave Brailsford talking. Your biggest bosses. We see a news story that comes out even remotely like that, and we don't like it. Trust me, we are wiring it back to whoever it was that put the word out there. We promise you on that. And you best hope that we somehow miraculously we never find out, because otherwise hellfire shall rain down on you, and you're not going to survive it. Your career, gone, completely gone. We'll sack you off to non-league football. Well, do you know what? We'll buy you. We'll buy a non-league entity, right? And we'll tie it to Manchester United, and we'll send you to go play in that squad. We will not sever the contract. We'll keep you. We'll keep you, but you can go play non-league football for the rest of your career. You can go do that. But let me know your thoughts and your feelings about all the topics that we've covered tonight. Thankfully, this time around, I know the microphone is working, and I know I don't have to go record this for a third time. This is where I find out that I've actually have broken my mic. That would be just completely typical. But if it does make it up onto YouTube, please smash a like. That would be most appreciative. It'd be most helpful. And if you were to also subscribe, if you haven't already done so. And if you haven't, why haven't you? It's simple decisions. You know, they're good life decisions. I'm sure. Listen, if there were some of the most influential figures all throughout history of positive influential figures, I'm sure there's a couple that straight away came to mind. Stop thinking about it, or stop thinking about them. Positive influential figures, they would have told you back in their day. There's going to be a channel out there called Hot Fuzz 44. Y'all better subscribe to him. You know what's up. You better subscribe to him if you know what's up. Because that's what we shall be doing here, is speaking some facts, speaking some sense. Although I kind of question my own common sense sometimes. We manage. We do all right. We do all right around these parts. Currently on 146 subscriber count, so we are very, very close to 150. If we can hit 150, that would be fan-bloody-tastic. And if we can hit more than that by the end of the month, then even more amazing. And it'll be very much thanks to everybody who does support this channel and all of that good stuff. But that's it from me for tonight. Make sure you drop your comments in the comment section down below. Hit the likes, subscribe, all of that shebang. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday nights and your Sundays. If you don't see me, I'm sure maybe you will. Depends on what goes on. But if you don't, take care, and we'll see you again very soon. Most likely on Monday. But until then, bye-bye. Bye-bye.